Jay Cicero with the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation. Big news yesterday with the release of the Economic Impact Survey from the recently held Super Bowl here in New Orleans, Super Bowl 59. And the numbers are just off the charts. I guess that's the to not bury the lead. That's what it is. $1.25 billion. Could you have imagined those kind of numbers coming back as you got into this?
Absolutely not. I'm thrilled that it's that high. In 2013, 12 years ago, the economic impact was $480 million. University of New Orleans study provided that information to us. I felt, obviously, the event had grown significantly from then, and we knew, given the amount of spending and the amount of activations going on in New Orleans, that it was going to be higher. I figured it might be double, but to hit the B word, $1.25 billion, and we found out yesterday when the state revealed the study, we were very pleased with it and a little shocked. It just goes to show you how big that event has grown and what it means to the state of Louisiana.
So we talk about economic impact. What is the impact of this for the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation as it means doing business going forward? How does that affect how you go about doing your jobs for preparing for the next opportunity to bring a Super Bowl to New Orleans, for that matter, any other event?
Well, I think it obviously adds a check mark to the Sports Foundation and what our mission is. Not every event has the economic return that a Super Bowl does. The funding support from the state of Louisiana and the return on investment for a Super Bowl is obviously very large. And so not every event having that, when we go to the legislature or we go to the business community or our venues and work with New Orleans and Company and the hotels to put together these bids for major events and get commitments, certainly pointing to a Super Bowl is important, but acknowledging that, okay, if you take all of these events together, that's what we really want to focus on. Don't focus on that Super Bowl was this incredible return on investment, but this other event, it still has a return on investment, but not as large as Super Bowl. You can't expect that. So it's really an education process to make sure that everybody understands what we do, the financial risks that we take in taking on these events, as well as the need for support. But it certainly opens a lot of doors when you say the word Super Bowl and they understand the role that the Sports Foundation played.
Some of the hidden numbers, maybe hidden's not the right word, but obviously the $1.25 billion gets the headlines. But some of the other numbers that showed up in the report, like the jobs created, like the state tax dollars that were generated, from Super Bowl week in New Orleans. Just touch on some of those numbers and the importance, again, as you deal with the different constituents, if you will, that you have to deal with as CEO of the Sports Foundation.
Well, perhaps, obviously $1.25 billion is a huge number, but perhaps the most important number is the $82.7 million in state and regional taxes generated from the activity. That's in addition to what we normally have. So that is just the event itself, and that really points to that return on investment that we spoke about, but also the real core of what the Sports Foundation does. There are other impacts other than financial impacts. You could consider the media impact, which we don't have a number on. I'm sure that somebody out there can put a number on it. It's in the billions of media impressions for Super Bowl. We had a record 6,414 members of credentialed media here Super Bowl week. I don't know if it's it matches 1.25 billion in economic impact, but it's right there with it how important that is to the state of Louisiana and the city of New Orleans. I think when you consider what an event like the Super Bowl can do for a city and state, we really maximize that effort. And I say we, state of Louisiana, with the Louisiana Pavilion that was down near the convention center, where Louisiana Economic Development entertained potential clients to move their businesses to Louisiana or to expand their businesses in Louisiana. I think was a tremendous success. We learned yesterday that they closed a couple of deals here over Super Bowl with clients, and they met an incredible amount of CEOs and entertained a lot of media there that week. So that was really encouraging to hear. We had wanted that for 25 years of hosting Super Bowl since 1997. I guess it's 28 years, but we'd wanted that from that point in time to now, to be able to take advantage of these opportunities that only a Super Bowl can bring. You consider all the local vendors that were involved, the fact that the pregame show was all Louisiana and New Orleans talent as a first time ever. Consider the lighting of the St. Louis Cathedral. Very difficult to get there, but what a spectacular show it was, and something that still gives me goosebump moments when I think about that. The Super Bowl Host Committee Parade, huge success. Sponsored floats, NFL-sponsored floats, team floats, and Todd Graves from Raising Cane serving as our king. And look, he didn't do it to. You're not going to sell more chicken because he was the king of our parade. He did it to be not only a part of this event, but because he is very proud of being from Louisiana and creating a business in Louisiana and it thriving. And that message was really important to him, as it was the state of Louisiana. So, a lot of successes. Obviously, always things we can improve on. The next time, we don't know when the next time is going to be, but the ability for us to talk to the NFL staff in our review process of everything that we did for Super Bowl, certainly lays a little groundwork for the next one.
No question about it. And you guys don't stop, obviously. One of the things that I found intriguing is you got two events coming up this summer at the same time. So you guys are going to basically get stretched a little bit in terms of what you do with, the pickleball fest that you're now working with Drew Brees on, as well as the U.S. Gymnastics Championships coming to town in August as well. That's I guess that's something new for you guys to have basically two events going on at the same time.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time. I've been here a long time, but I don't remember a time when we actually had two events going on at the same time. So we were fortunate enough to be able to keep a little handful of staff members who were temporary for Super Bowl, but became full-time staff members afterwards to handle these types of events. We also have the UFC 318 coming up in July, July 19th. That's a first for the Sports Foundation to be involved with also. So we're creating new partnerships, hosting two events at the same time. USA Gymnastics event is extremely important to us. We actually hosted that event in the Superdome in 1995. So it's been 30 years since it's been here. The Smoothie King Center was not even a thought at that point. And so it was a great event, and to recreate the relationship with USA Gymnastics, given everything that we've learned and that we have done in the last 30 years, but especially with Super Bowl, to create that relationship can only lead to more events down the road.
obviously you look around your office and a lot of great moments that have happened. The first great moment for the Sports Foundation probably was the 92 Olympic trials. That's kind of what started this all in motion, if you will. Is there, with the Olympics coming back to the United States in 2028, could there be an opportunity maybe for trials, or are those things already set up that far in advance? Could we see something coming here with Olympians being decided for LA?
We are looking at several Olympic trials. It won't be track and field. Certainly, Tad Gormley Stadium is not in shape to be able to do that, and I think the heat now would be a deterrent. It was pretty hot back then, but now that the track and field stadiums on the West Coast have grown tremendously since then, they've kind of got a lock on that. But we are looking at a few Olympic trials, a few other national championships, and a few other events that have not been on our radar screen that I'm not at liberty to talk about right now. But we are constantly evaluating events to bring to the city and create that economic impact and media exposure that are associated with them. And that's what our mission is to evaluate, bid, manage, raise the funds, take the financial risk. Hopefully it's a calculated financial risk. But our partners around the city, ASM Global, the City of New Orleans, New Orleans and Company, the state of Louisiana, all play a big role in support of what we do. And I think the success of the organization over the past, since 1998, has been proof that their support is well worth it.
Continued success. I know lots more news on the horizon. Have a New Orleans Bowl announcement later this week, from what I understand. So it's it never ends here, even though the Super Bowl is certainly starting to move to the back burner now. But even there, the news is still coming.
It is, and I was asked the other day, how do you come off of a Super Bowl and you get motivated and excited about USA Gymnastics and UFC? Obviously, great events, but smaller, and it really leads back to service. Having a service-minded organization in leadership, as well as the individual pride that we take in hosting these events. You combine that with creating new relationships for events that we have not hosted, and I think that really is a motivation for us to really do everything that or have the type of events that we did for Super Bowl. It's easy to get the community excited about a Super Bowl, but maybe a little bit more of a challenge for events they're not used to. But it's part of our job, and we take a lot of pride in what we do, and I think that's where it starts.
All right, Jay, thanks for your time. Appreciate it, and continued success.
Thank you, Lenny.